Hello, this is Talmir, and welcome to another repair video. We're looking at an iPhone 7. This is a really beat up looking iPhone 7 I've got here from a customer. He traded in a couple of phones to me just recently, and just look at this thing. The battery is like, the pouch is a little bit loose. You got the cables that are busted. That one's busted. That one's busted. I think the home button is salvageable, maybe, but it's in super rough shape. So things that we're gonna need to replace, we got the camera, that's the front-facing camera, the screen, obviously, the battery, and there might be a couple other things that may need to be replaced. So far, the back of the phone looks okay, and I have already done some testing on this. But for just you guys to see here, if I plug this in, it should be receiving some sort of charge. And there you have it. It does receive some charge. It is somewhat alive. So just to reassure myself, I might just leave it plugged in for a bit, and we'll see what it does. Okay, look at that. 20. It went up to 20 briefly. And now it's fast charging, or at least as close as fast charging is possible. So we are seeing it doing what it's supposed to be doing. In theory, it does run. Now, I do have a phone right here that is locked. It's a 128 gigabyte version of the iPhone 7 too, so that's really disappointing. But I got this in a whole bunch of other phones from a customer, and they're a business and they own the phones. But when they get them back from their employees, sometimes they can't get them unlocked afterwards, which is very unfortunate. So I end up using them for parts. So there is a data label on the back there, just for my own info. But as you can see, it is black back and it's got a white screen. The home button is cracked, so we'll see how this goes. I'm going to take the shields off, pop those out, and then after that I'm going to take this screen and we're going to pop that in and just see if it turns on. So I'm noticing here there is a loose screw. It is a tri-wing screw. I don't know where it goes for. I don't know what it's with. Look, just take a quick gander around and see if there's anything that's floating around, any screws missing. And I'm not seeing anything off the top. So maybe it's from the screen itself. It's possible that it may have come from here, since the rest are tri-wing screws. We got those shields off. Let's pop these connectors off. Oh, wow. It's so sad looking, seeing stuff like this. Ain't that a nifty little pile? Alright, that's off. Pop that up just briefly here. Let's get this screen in. I've already taken out the screws from the bottom, just to make my life easier, and I've done the same thing with this already. Here we are. So I have played around with this phone a little bit in the past, so you can see that the battery is loose. I don't know the health of the battery, but if the battery is in good shape, I might just use that one instead of utilizing a new battery. Okay, we got our screen out. Let's see what's going to go and happen here. Actually, you know what? Curious about this battery, because I know that this battery is a no-go. It's too beaten up. It's definitely going to need to be replaced. Let's see what my key on Lee says. It says it's a new battery. Can I believe it? Ah, there we go. 71%. I don't know why it does that weird glitchy thing across the screen, but whatever. 71%, I can't use this battery. So let's toss the screen in here and just see whether or not this phone actually turns on. Now, I doubt there's enough battery power in there for it to turn on, but we'll try. Nothing. Not even the battery symbol. Oh, look at that. I was just going to double check my connectors, but I just turned on. Well, of course. Just pulled a really stupid mistake there. I forgot to plug the battery back in. Let's try that again. Yeah, there we go. I'm not going to be able to get it to fully turn on, and all that until it's got a little bit more battery in it. So we're just gonna leave it alone for now. So it does turn on. It is working so far. It was charging for absolutely ages, and yet it's only up to 12% at this point. Obviously the battery does definitely need to be replaced. But you can see that it does have a pin on it. Need a passcode. So I know that customer did remove the account, so I should be able to wipe this using iTunes and just put it into recovery mode. But to do that, I need to change out that home button for it to work, because I'm pretty sure with the iPhone 7 to put it into recovery, you need to use the power button. I think it's one of the volume buttons and the home button together. So I'm going to do that right now. Look at that. The home button's not cracked. It doesn't have any tears. I don't see any tears, at least. It might be okay. There we have it. Home button back in. Let's put that shield on. All right, we got the screen in. New home button in. Well, shouldn't say new. Original home button, I should say. And of course, the battery is in such bad condition that once again, okay, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna borrow the battery out of this one, even though the battery isn't in great shape. It's gotta be better than what's in here for the moment being. I just need to restart the phone. Not restart, I gotta get a factory reset. Now, I don't know what other people do for getting these batteries out of the iPhone 7s, but my habit has always been to take out this taptic motor first in order to more easily access the adhesive on the bottom. There we go. Now I've got easy access to those tabs. And that one tore. This is going to be a stubborn battery. I think it's just because they probably dried out. They're so old. If I'm lucky, I'll be able to get this one. And I got lucky. That other one, though, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to it. Could try again. I think it's just going to end up breaking again is all. Because it's just so old. Maybe I could use my glue remover. It's kind of working. Hey, look at that. All right, we got a better battery. Taptic motors back in. Got the screen connected. Battery is also reconnected. And of course, the new battery is completely drained of all juice. So we got to charge that up. Once we get a little bit of a charge, maybe 30%, and then we can plug it into the computer itself, and we can probably just begin doing that recovery process. Alrighty, it's finished the reset, and that restore is done. Now let's just hope that this is actually being reset. Like, not just reset, but that the account has been released from iCloud. Okay. This looks good. I always like to test the fingerprint. Just right here. Apply less force when touching the home button. That's interesting. It's doing it. It's probably doing this because of the fact that the button hasn't been fully, the phone hasn't been fully closed up and all that, so it's unhappy about that. But it does look like the customer did in fact do what they were supposed to do and cleared out their info from their iCloud, which is great to see. I also found out what the battery health on the old battery was. It was 32% for the battery health. That is just insane. Okay, so there we go. I'm pretty sure that the battery that I took from the other one is at 76%, so it's not going to be great. 71%, it's even lower. But it'll do for now, just to get things set up properly. That home button is acting a little bit odd. When I press down on it, this is what it does. It's as if it's become hypersensitive. I'm not going to worry about that for now. We're going to get the rest of this phone put together first. First off, it's a new battery. And after that, we got to put all the shields back in place, because as far as I can tell, the phone is more or less doing what it's supposed to. Aside that home button seeming to be a little bit oversensitive. You can make it work without that though, so maybe that's okay. And I know that there are settings that can make the home button a little bit less sensitive. Just it's not easy to replace that home button. It will lose its functionality with the fingerprint reader. So let's disconnect this. Now I do have an 85% battery health battery on hand. I'd prefer to use it for testing and, you know, like in an emergency case instead. See if this one has any juice. It's been sitting on the shelf for quite a while, so sometimes they're completely drained by the time you plug them in. As you can see so far, it has some juice going on in it. Now I do see a little bit of screen flicker, and that happens. I don't even know if you guys can see it. My eyes can pick it up, but the camera may not be picking it up. But that happens when the battery is extremely low on battery power. It's at around 20-21%, something like that. So it does need to be charged up. Screen flickers disappeared. That's very, very common with the iPhones. I believe it's the iPhone 6 and the 7 and sometimes even the 8 have a little bit of screen flicker for a little bit of time. Right after you've done a battery replacement, it does go away. So everything's working properly. You can go and I found myself some screen adhesive, which is great. I'll apply that. You can finally then put the screen back in, put the shields on, and close it all up. Then after that, I always like to give them a really good solid charge. You know what? Looks a little bit dirty. It's not terrible. Looks like there's a little bit of dirt here. I'm gonna take a Q-tip and just give that a good wipe down. There we go. That's all done. Let's close her up. Got everything together. I'm just going to give it a quick wipe down because it's not particularly pretty with all those fingerprints. Usually I would do this with gloves because this particular alcohol has a tendency to burn my fingers. Alright, there's a phone rebuilt from salvaged parts. Battery health 100%. The home button is a bit oversensitive. If you touch it even just kind of, it is acting a little bit odd. I think I can change that underneath the home button sensitivity, touch ID and passcode and all that. Maybe it's in there. There it is right there, click speed for the home button. If I switch it to slow, it's still acting a little bit weird, but just switching it to slow actually made a major change. And that's better at this point than replacing the home button altogether. So that's great to see. This phone is done. What we need to do after this is, I need to go and put it through its full regimen of tests to make sure that it can make calls, that the screen is in decent shape, that there isn't any like light or dark spots, that the sound works, that the ear speaker works, etc. All that needs to be fully functioning before I can put it up for sale. So guys, that's it for this repair video. If you guys liked the video, please do leave a like, and if you want to see more of my stuff, subscribe. See you guys all in another video. Bye.